Honesty and openness are generally regarded as positive traits, and secrets and lies have a darker connotation associated with them. And that's what I'd like to explore today in reference to A Course in Miracles and its unique definitions of things. So we'll start with the Course's definition of honesty. In the Manual for Teachers, in the characteristics of God's teachers, honesty is listed as the following. Honesty does not apply only to what you say. The term actually means consistency. There is nothing you say that contradicts what you think or do. No thought opposes any other thought. No act belies your word, and no word lacks agreement with another. Such are the truly honest. At no level are they in conflict with themselves. Therefore, it is impossible for them to be in conflict with anyone or anything. Now, there is only one part of our mind. If you're familiar with A Course in Miracles, you'll know it distinguishes our mind into a right mind and a wrong mind. So the wrong mind, or the wrong mind on this side, the wrong mind is the part of the mind when we have identified with the ego and its thought system of separation and competitive interests. The right mind is the mind when we have associated or identified with the Holy Spirit's thought system, which is about shared interests, about union, and that the separation from God has never happened. So on some level, we accept that as the truth when we're identified with the Holy Spirit. We don't consciously go, oh, the separation has never happened. On an unconscious level, we obtain peace that is associated with that memory or that realization on some level that the separation has never happened. So by definition, when we are listening to the ego and we're in our wrong mind, our mind is conflicted. We are in a conflicted state because the ego is based on a thought system of conflict, of one or the other, of do I do A, do I do B? It's a mess. When we're identified with the ego, there's a kind of a war going on in our mind. And according to this definition of honesty, when we're in our wrong mind, there is no way that we can be honest in the Course's sense of the word, because it's what we say or do comes from a conflicted mind. So whatever we do, there'll be a part of our mind that also contains, oh, but what, maybe I should do the opposite, if that makes sense. So let's say somebody says, do you own this property? And you go, yes. But if you're coming from the ego, there will be part of your mind that will be weighing things up like, okay, I've said yes, so I've been honest. Let's say I do own the property. I've been honest in the world's terms, and that is, in the world's terms, what being ethical is in form, you are honest. But if I'm in my ego, when I say, yes, I own this property, I'll actually be conflicted. So there'll be a conflict between what I actually do or say and something else that's going on in my mind. So even though I've said yes, there'll be a part of my mind that's summing the situation up and thinking, oh, but maybe you shouldn't tell them. Maybe you should say no. Who is this person, and should I let them know that I own this property? I mean, there'll be a whole lot of things going on. That means that you won't be wholehearted or fully unified in your response to the person. So in terms of A Course in Miracles, the response wasn't loving. It came from the ego thought system. It came from the ego part of your mind because, and you know that, because you were conflicted about your actual response. Now, another part of the Course says that what is true in terms of the Holy Spirit and the Holy Spirit's thought system, what is true is only that which is really loving. So only what is truly loving is true The rest is false and can be discarded. So that's why when we're conflicted, though on the level of form, we might be being honest, in terms of A Course in Miracles, we're not, because we're telling a lie. We're not being true. We're not extending love. So true honesty relates to purpose, and purpose relates to extending love, or if we're in line with our ego, projecting shame and guilt. So honesty in the Course's terms can be in form not giving the correct answer to someone. So if somebody asks me, do you own that house? And I do own that house, for whatever reason, if I'm in touch with my right mind and I am open to extending love, it might be that I just know to say, no, I don't own it. So now this doesn't give us license to just go around saying lies in terms of form willy-nilly because it suits us. And in this regard, I like to think of something that Socrates said. Now, he said, it's best to turn your gaze up to the divine law to know how to proceed in any particular situation, or to know what to say, perhaps even in regards to whether to be honest in form or not. But, he said, this kind of thinking is perhaps only helpful for people who are over 30, because the youth might see this kind of thinking as a license to wreak havoc, to mess with the law, and to just muck about according to their own whims. And yeah, just to disregard normality and rules for the sake of it. So there is a little caveat in there. This kind of thinking is for the spiritually mature and the psychologically mature, and people who are not trying to use the Course or any other spirituality to basically do what they want. And you'll know that you're not on the right track with your thinking or with your thoughts, that you're being honest, if you feel any kind of opposition to the person that you're dealing with, or a sense of it's them versus me. If you don't feel a sense of peace, a sense of unity, a sense of shared interests, then that's a hint that you're not actually going by the divine law or from your right mind, that you're actually coming from the ego. The Danish philosopher Søren Kierkegaard had a really cool phrase for this situation where we might be called to do something or say something that the world would say, oh, that's not ethical. And he called this the teleological suspension of the ethical. So, what he means is that sometimes our faith calls us to do something or say something that in the eyes of the world would be, that's not ethical. So it's not about destroying the ethics of the world. It's about a temporary suspension of world ethics for a higher goal or a higher end. And that's where the word teleological comes from. So telos is Greek for goal or end. So if the higher goal or the higher end relates to our trust, and that in terms of A Course in Miracles, the higher end is this will be beneficial for all. We're extending love, and shared interests are involved. So for whatever reason, we trust that in this moment, when we say no, when really the honest answer in the eyes of the world is yes, or vice versa, we trust that that is for the benefit of all people involved. So now let's turn to secrets. Secrets are an interesting thing, because although we can keep secrets for good reasons, and it's probably best. I think it's safe to say it is best sometimes to keep things to ourselves, to keep secrets for the sake of not hurting other people or for whatever reason. You know, we don't need to shout certain things to the world or be totally open about certain things going on. That's I think kind of common sense. However, there is something about keeping a secret, big or small, for good reasons or bad, that makes us feel a bit edgy, you know, even if it is for good reasons or we think for loving reasons. Why is it that holding a secret just doesn't feel good, even if it's for good reasons? Well, I think the course, again, can give us a clue. In the section called The Guiltless Son of God, it has this. I'll read the following. The darkest of your hidden cornerstones holds your belief in guilt from your awareness. For in that dark and secret place is the realization that you have betrayed God's Son. So, there is a part of our mind, the darkest, most hidden cornerstone, where we have a secret. We're keeping a secret. And that secret is our guilt. And the guilt over the belief that we have betrayed God's Son. Now, that means the belief that we have destroyed the sonship, which in the Course means oneness, means God's unity, his creation. Because we believe that we have separated from God, we believe that that unity has been destroyed and it's all our fault. So that guilt and shame of that is a secret that we keep to ourselves, buried in the deepest cornerstone of our mind. And I'm just suggesting that that might be why, whenever we hold a secret, it disturbs us, even if it is for helpful reasons. So, my suggestion here is that whenever we are doing something secretively, trying to avoid somebody else from becoming aware of it, even if it's for good reasons, and we might be feeling off-centered, and it disturbs us, that's because it's a reflection of another secret we keep deep down in the darkest recesses of our mind. And that secret is our guilt over what we believe we've done. So the remedy for dealing with the kind of angst or the worry or the just that off feeling about keeping a secret from someone is to ask Jesus to help us, to ask Jesus to help us in everything involved with this secret so that it's no longer secret. When we're joined with Jesus in our mind, we're joined with everybody in our mind. We're joined with that one capital S self. So on that level, we're not keeping a secret from anybody. Our mind is open to everybody. And Jesus or the Holy Spirit, whichever you feel most comfortable calling on, they are the connection to that one self. They provide that bridge between that one self and our identification with a separated self. So calling on them to watch with us, stand by us as we keep the secret, can be a way of dealing with that queasy feeling and also healing that deep, dark secret that we keep in the back of our mind, that we are guilty and sinful, because that secret is the source of our disturbance in relation to keeping the secret in front of us. And maybe with the help or that presence, maybe at some stage they might guide us not to keep the secret anymore, or maybe they will reassure us that keeping the secret is okay and just to keep doing it. Whatever they guide us to do will be helpful. But just calling on them to be with us so that it's no longer a secret. It's no longer just us and this thing. Our mind isn't closed into this, what the Course might call a private world, where it's just us and this secret. We open our mind to Jesus to be with us with this secret, and that also reflects opening our mind to Him to be with us with that deep, dark secret. I hope you've found this discussion of honesty, openness, secrets and lies helpful. And tune in again. Thank you. Bye.